Okay, so today we're going to be looking at blog and web writing, or at least blog or web writing SEO. We looked at blog and web writing last week. For today, you had to hand in your written blog post. And so now we're going to look at the SEO. What is SEO, and how do we integrate? Yeah, sure, you know the word, but what is it? How do you do it? Do you know that? Hashtags and stuff. Yes, that's exactly how you do it. You add hashtags and stuff. No, there's a lot more to it. Okay, so as you know, it stands for search engine optimization, and it's a strategy that's used by website owners to do what? What's the point of SEO?
Drive traffic into your website.
Sure, to drive traffic into your website. If you have better SEO, what happens?
Your ranking when you search.
Your rankings on Google or other search engines is higher the better your SEO. Okay? Which means you get more traffic to your blog, and that's what you want for your website. Okay? So search engine optimization actually makes it easy for search engines to find your website and your blog. Okay? When people search for topics on the web that you write about, your search engine optimized content will appear. Okay? And you'll get more people clicking through to your website. Very important. Okay, so why SEO? Search engines are often the biggest way to get traffic. People are not always or often going to actually know about your blog and then go to your blog. They're going to search for something, and then hopefully your blog will pop up. That's how they're going to find your blog. Okay? So how does it work? Google and these other search engines, they use algorithms, computer algorithms, or mathematical algorithms, to understand and rank pages. When you search for something, then they use these algorithms all over the internet to search for content that best suits what you've searched for. Okay? But those algorithms aren't perfect. They can't just scroll through your website if you haven't made it easy for them. You must make it easy for the algorithms. They actually call them spiders. It's like little spiders that go throughout the internet and go on everyone's websites and to bring back the websites that are the most applicable. But you need to make it easy for these spiders to find your content, or to relate your content to what they're searching for. Okay. So the basics of WordPress SEO. We're going to specifically focus on SEO I'm going to focus on WordPress SEO. If your website is on Wix or on other website development tools, there's another one I think called something Space. I forget its name now. Squarespace. You can probably use some of the principles that I'm going to be teaching you now, but you will need to do some research on how to do specific SEO for Wix. Okay, so it can get a bit technical. This is SEO for the free version of WordPress. There's more complicated forms of SEO for the paid version of WordPress. Then you can implement plugins. And there are all kinds of interesting SEO plugins that make SEO very powerful for WordPress. But anyways, we're going to just look at the free version and some of the basics of SEO. Okay. Let's get started. So the first thing, you must put in a site title and a site tagline. Okay? This is very good for SEO. If your blog, if your tagline says something related to fashion or something related to whatever, then it will be better for your blog. Okay, but going forward, you probably do that when you know what your niche is going to be. But for now, you can just write whatever you want there. But just make sure that there's something in the title and the tagline. Check your site's visibility settings. So WordPress comes in with a built-in option to actually hide your website from search engines. While you're working on it and you don't want anyone to find it, then you can actually switch it off so that search engines won't find it. But then once you're ready to launch and you're happy with your blog, then you can make it visible again. Okay?
Next question.
Yes.
Patients know I really launch the website. Can you
Still switch it off?
Yeah.
Yes.
When?
I'll show you now. Okay, so sometimes it can get checked accidentally, which means that it's not visible. Sometimes you can be working on it and then you forget to switch it on again. So you must make sure that if you switch it off, that you switch it on eventually, otherwise no one will find your website. Okay? So, it's over there. If you go to right at the bottom on the left-hand side, WP-admin, and you go here in the admin page to settings, reading, you will see there it says search engine visibility. Discourage search engines from indexing the site. If that's checked, it means they won't find it. If it's unchecked, they will find it. Okay? Alright. Optimize your slugs. Now, what is a slug? No, it's not that little creature that eats the lettuce. It's part of your URL of your blog posts. So your URL, as you can see there, that's the URL of the blog, mygreatnewblog.com. That's the URL. But the slug for this blog post is /awesome-blog-post/. That's the slug. Okay, that's the slug of the blog post. Now, it's very important that you use slugs that relate to your blog post. Okay? And you can adjust the slugs. You can edit them in your posts or your page. If you can't see them, you'll have to make them visible by clicking on post settings and then more options, and then you can fill in the slug field. Don't worry, I will make this PowerPoint available to you. Okay, using SEO-friendly URL structures in WordPress or slugs. So SEO-friendly URLs contain words that clearly explain the content of the page, and they're easy to read by humans and search engines. Here are some examples of SEO-friendly URLs. That's the website, and then how to install WordPress. Or common WordPress errors and how to fix them. Can you see they're quite long? Well, they're not just short. They're quite descriptive. You don't want them to be too long, but they need to be fairly descriptive. Okay? You can tell what these blog posts are about just by looking at those slides, can't you? But if yours is just fashion, I won't know what about fashion. Or fashion 1, fashion 2, fashion 3, fashion. What about fashion? Okay? So what does a non-friendly URL look like? Looks like that. Just a number. It can be that, but that's not going to be helpful for search engines. Okay? So you need to use SEO-friendly. Okay, so this is called a permalink structure. So this is called the slug, but the structure is called a permalink structure. And you can change the permalink structure. I think I show you how. Or I thought I showed you how. Okay, you don't have to worry about how to change them. You can't change them in the free version. In the free version, there wouldn't be numbers. They would just be your title. The title will be your slug. But you probably will be able to change the slug, or at least once you put in the title, it will automatically make that the slug. Okay? But then you can go and change it again, if you want to change it. Alright. So sometimes, listen carefully, you might make your title, listen carefully, different from your slug. You might make your slug longer so that it's more descriptive than your title. Or the other way around, you might make your title long, but usually titles shouldn't be way too long. Okay, so just remember that. I'm going to check that, by the way, when I go to your blog posts. Okay, then, next, categories and tags. Hashtags, in a way. Categories and tags. So, WordPress allows you to sort your blog posts in categories and tags. So this makes it easy for you to manage your content in topics. Okay? So what's nice with categories is they work like folders. So you will have maybe 3 main categories. Fashion, university, and then maybe work. Right? 3 main categories. Then underneath them you'll have subcategories. So under fashion, you'll have dresses and makeup and whatever it is. Okay? For university, you'll have whatever, strategy and etc. For work, you'll have experience and or different companies that you worked at, MTN and whatever. Okay, and so this is how it works. You basically create categories and you can add new categories. The automatic category is called uncategorized. You never want to post anything in uncategorized. You always want to make sure that you have a category. Either a very broad primary category like I've shown you or a subcategory. Okay? And you don't want to go further than 1 layer. Well, maybe 3 layers. So that's the first layer. Second layer, you can go another layer. Let's say dresses. And then within dresses you have, whatever, 60s, 50s, 40s. But you don't want to go any further than that. 3 layers of categories, okay? Otherwise it's going to be too complicated for your audience, target audience. Okay. So there we go, there's an example. Categories are meant for broad grouping of your posts. If your blog was a book, then categories would be like the table of contents. So in this case, you can see there recipes, dessert, main course, starter. Those are the categories and subcategories. Then tags. Tags are different to categories. Tags are like hashtags. In Facebook or in Twitter or in Instagram, you'll sometimes see a post and then you'll see like 10 hashtags. You've seen that, right? What are the hashtags? The hashtags are like words that kind of relate to what you're talking about. Okay? And you want to have between 5 and 10 tags per blog post. Hear me carefully. Between 5 and 10 tags per blog post. And usually this is very good for SEO. Okay? Because SEO, the spiders will look for these tags to define what is your blog post about. So you want to make sure that you use tags that, here's important, find words that you put into your blog post and then use those same words as tags. So if I use Thailand, I would have hoped to use Asia, Thailand, Laos and Vietnam in this blog post. Then they connect. Don't use tags. Well, you can use sometimes tags that don't relate, that maybe give a better perception of your blog post, but try and make sure that you use the same words in the blog post as what you use for tags. Okay. Now, let's talk about SEO writing. It's all about keywords. Keywords. So, the first thing, the most important thing about SEO is choosing the right keywords for your blog posts. Okay? And you need to choose the types of keywords that your audience is going to be searching for. Okay? That they're going to be using when they search. Beauty products in South Africa. Or, I don't know, carbon face mask in South Africa. Whatever it is. Activated carbon face mask, I think that's something, eh? My wife tried it once. Activated carbon with wood glue. Just extremely painful to pull it off. Anyways, then what you can do is, this is very clever. You use this website called Google Trends. And you can find out which words people are using to search in your category, in your niche. What are the top words? So if you put in there beauty, it will show you what are the 10 key things people are searching for. And then guess what you do? What do? You take the top one and you write a blog post about it using that keyword. That's how you get traffic to your website. Does that make sense? Or you take the top 10 and you write 10 blog posts about it. That's how you get traffic. You find what people are searching for and you write that. Okay, so what is a good keyword? A keyword is a word or short phrase people will use to search for an article. So they're usually everyday language, okay, everyday language, and you need to make sure that you spell out the word, okay? People don't usually search for abbreviations. When they search for the full word. And use optimized headlines for your blog posts. Each blog post headline should not only convey the topic of the post, but also include the post's main keyword. Listen carefully. Your keyword, the keyword that you're going to choose, needs to be in your headline. Okay? So what was the one that I used? Beauty, activated carbon, beauty mask, South Africa. So you would write, that would be your headline. You know? You'd make sure that the keyword is then in your blog posts, close body, in one of the headings, and in title. For example, check this out. A headline like 10 vegan smoothie recipes that will rock your world. Listen carefully. 10 vegan smoothie recipes that will rock your world. So what's the keyword there? What's the keyword? What would you say is the keyword that they chose to use here? Vegan smoothie recipes. That's the keyword. Okay? But they added the other things to make it hip. Okay. So check this out. This wouldn't rank as well. Rock your world with these refreshing smoothies. Rock your world with these refreshing smoothies. Okay, the only significant thing there is the word smoothies. So it's not specific enough. But someone's going to search for vegan smoothie recipes, aren't they? If they're looking for vegan smoothie recipes. That's what they're going to type in. And then this is going to come up. Okay. Use your keywords in your blog post. Try mentioning your post's main keyword within the first 100 words. So in the introduction passage, you must make sure that you use that keyword. Don't overdo it though. If you put too much of your keyword into your blog post everywhere, it doesn't make it easy to read. And people can just see, this person's just trying to rank. It must be subtle. Use it like 3 or 4 times in your entire blog post. Okay? Write in a way that makes it sound natural, like it's coming up naturally in your blog post. And include it in your subheaders. I've shown you subheaders, main headers, H1 headers, and H2 and H3 headers. Put it in an H1 and potentially in an H2 header. And of course in your title. Okay, there we go. Try to repeat each keyword a few times every 300 words. Or 5 times in your entire blog post. Okay, now, once you've written your blog post, you need to create like an executive summary, which is called an excerpt. Have you ever seen when you Google something? I can show you the picture over here. Here on the right-hand side, can you see that the blog title comes up, and then it's the website address, and then you see that little summary there. That's called the excerpt. The excerpt. Okay? If you don't write an excerpt, right, your own excerpt, then what will happen is Google will pull in the first few lines of your blog post. And sometimes the first few lines of your blog post are not the best as a summary. So you must write a summary that will be used as an excerpt. Okay? And the way that you find your excerpt is you go to you need to, there's a thing called screen options over here. Let me use the mouse. Can I? There's a thing called screen options that you click on. And then you must click on excerpt to make it come up. It will come up at the bottom, right at the bottom, underneath your blog post. Okay, you click on screen options. You can also click on all the other things like discussion, comments. You'll see what I mean. Okay? So, you need to write an optimized excerpt. So guess what word are you going to use in your excerpt? Your keyword. Okay, and you're going to make sure that your keyword is in your excerpt because Google's going to find that as well. Okay, and this is kind of what it looks like. Excerpt at the bottom of, you'll just type it in there. And it's usually not very long. It's like 2 lines or 3 lines at the most. It's just it's like a powerful summary of your blog post. Okay? Okay. Then another very important thing, and this you will do as you go along, is you will interlink your posts and pages. So you will refer to things within your blog post that you wrote last week or the week before, and you will interlink from your blog post. You will link to other things that you have written. So you'll say, if you like my 10 vegan smoothie recipes blog, check out my 10 non-vegan smoothies with a link. Check out my favorite smoothies from around the world with a link, you know. And this gets people going to the other blog posts, but it's also very good for SEO. Okay, because SEO looks at incoming links. Actually, that's the key thing for SEO, to be honest with you, is not so much all this other stuff I've told you, although this other stuff is very important. It's the top people that are SEO, the top SEO people are people who have links coming in from other blogs. So if you guys can, help each other out by linking to your friends' blogs. Okay? Also, link to other things that are helpful for your blog readers. That's also important. Google looks at, is this blog post helpful to people because it links them to other things on the web? Or is it just telling them what they think is best? Or is it linking? So, Google wants to see, is this a good resource that people should come to? Should I put it at the top of my page? You know, as Google. Because is it going to be really helpful to people? Okay, here's an example of interlinking. If you do not link to something else on the web, do not use the following method to create a link. Oh, sorry, if you do link to something, don't use this method. Don't say, check out the blog post here, and then have the link. Okay, that's not helpful for SEO. This is helpful for SEO. See, the whole word, the whole keyword. Check out my delicious chocolate cake recipe. Then Google knows, oh, that link is connected to chocolate recipes. This is very bad. This is very bad. This is not a good practice to have. Okay. Then lastly, image SEO. Images also need to include relevant keywords in their metadata. Okay? Don't just upload an image just like that. So I've told you about metadata. You need to make sure that your keywords are in the metadata. So you need to change the file name. If you download an image and you use it on your blog, it's probably going to say something like image.jpg. Right? You've probably seen that before. Or download.jpg. Before you upload it to your blog, change the file name. It's not very descriptive. It doesn't tell you what it is. Okay, for example, what do you think that should say, the file name should say for this image? City of Cape Town, sure, Cape Town. Okay, so change it to Cape Town, Cape-Town.jpg. If there's a space, don't put it together, make sure there's a dash. Google understands a dash as a space. And then upload it to your blog. Once you have uploaded your image in the media upload section, you can click on the edit to add other metadata. Here on the right hand side, you'll see that I've uploaded that Cape Town file there, and there I've got edit. Click on edit, and then this comes up. Once you click on the edit, you will notice that the file automatically becomes the image title. So you can see there, my image title is the same name as my URL there. You'll see there it says dylancromer.wordpress.com/Cape Town. That's the link for that image. But that's also the title over there.
So can you change the name?
Yes. So the URL will probably stay the same. Or actually, you could probably change the URL even. But you can definitely change the name, the title. So make sure that the file size is not too big. If you've got lots of very big images, it makes it, Google doesn't like that because why? Why won't Google like that? It's very slow. It slows down your website. It makes it a bad user experience. Okay? And Google doesn't like bad user experiences because they want to send people websites that are going to give them a good user experience. Okay. So you can reduce the file size using any editing program, or there are lots of file size reducing websites online. You can just upload your picture and then it downloads it as a smaller file size. You can also download a free program called, I think it's Format Factory, and you can change the image sizes. There are others as well. But you can check the file size over there. You don't want your images to be anything bigger than like 2 megabytes. Even that's a bit big. Okay, you want it like 1 megabyte. Don't worry about the dimensions. The dimensions is how wide and how high it is. The file size is what matters for SEO. And then, you need to insert alternative text in the following box. See all these technical things that involves getting people to your site. Okay, there's a lot of technical things that you need to just do. They're not difficult to do, you just need to do them. Okay, you need to add an alternative text. So you just scroll down in that edit box for the photo, you scroll down and you'll see there it says alternative text. Okay, now what is alt text? It's also known as alt attributes, alt descriptions, or alt tags. And it's used within the HTML code. Right, the HTML code is like the website's code, to describe the appearance and the function of an image on the page. Describes the appearance. It's not the title. It's not even the caption. It's the description of the image. So, this is where you'll see it. You'll see if you can't see the image, guess what will come up? The alt text. Earth as seen from outer space. So what's this image about? You can imagine that it's Earth as seen from outer space. But if it just said their image, would you know what it is? No. Is that good for SEO? No. So, another reason this is important is that people who can't see very well, what they have is they have programs that actually read to them what's on the website. Do you hear me? And when it gets to an image, it will say image, and then it will read the alternative text to them to tell them what the image is. And if your image just says image, they're not going to know what it is, which means Google's not going to like you. Okay? So if you've got a good header, a good title, good keywords, good tags, good category, your keyword is in the excerpt, your keyword is in the subtitle, subheaders, and in the title, and you have good images with good alternative texts, that's going to help bring a lot of people to your site. Check this out. This is what I wanted to show you, the difference between what you see and what Google sees. Google doesn't see a Doritos packet. They see the HTML. This is what the HTML looks like. They see this, Google sees this, but then because you have a website browser, the website browser lets you see this. So you need to make sure that this is optimized for Google. Okay? Because they can't see that it's a Doritos packet. They need to read. Google Spiders needs to read that it's a Doritos packet. Okay, so the best format for alternative text is sufficiently descriptive. You need to make sure that it's described well. If you close your eyes and have someone read the alt text to you, you need to be able to imagine what it is. So, here's a good example, or here's an example. Let's take a look at a few examples. Here's a delicious looking stack of blueberry pancakes. Okay? This alt text is only okay. Here's the alt text. That's the image title, pancakes.png, and here's the alt text, pancakes. Do you think that's sufficient to just write pancakes? No. What do you think it should be? At least blueberry pancakes, but you could even say more. Blueberry pancakes with icing topping. Okay? Here we go. Powdered sugar, sorry. That's what they call it in America. So here we go. Stack, not just blueberry pancakes, but a stack of blueberry pancakes with powdered sugar. That's a much better alternative text. Okay. It's not recommended that you don't have any alternative text for your images, and it's also not recommended that you have this. Just random lots of keywords. You can't just put all kinds of lots of keywords in there. It must describe the actual image. We call that keyword stuffing, and that doesn't work well with Google. Okay, so describe the image as specifically as possible. Keep it relatively short. Try and use your keywords if you can, but avoid keyword stuffing. Okay, summary. The number one factor for Google is high quality referral links, as I've said, people referring to your blog. But other factors that we've discussed is using keywords strategically, having meaningful page titles, having meaningful alt tags, having meaningful link texts, having header tags, meta tags, and URL structures, and of course excerpts. Okay. Now, for next week, you need to do what? What do you think you need to do? You need to create a new blog post, but you need to find on Google Trends the top keyword. Okay? The top keyword in whichever category you want to write about. Then you need to use that keyword in your blog post in all the areas that I've just described. Then you need to print out your blog post. I need to see the keyword in your blog post, in your title, in the first introduction of your blog post, as a subheader, and in your tags, and in your excerpt, and in your image. Alt tag, alt text. Everywhere that is over here. You need to find yes, you have to look at this whole thing. You need to find one keyword that's the top of Google Trends. So you need to take a screenshot for me of Google Trends and your keyword that you found at the top of Google Trends in South Africa, because you're writing for South Africans, but not Google Trend keyword for anywhere else, for South Africa. You need to use that keyword to write a blog post, and you need to include it everywhere that I've just described.
Isn't other people from other countries that actually coming to the blogs and stuff like that?
That's fine. That's fine, but you're mostly writing for South Africa. If other people come, that's fine.